This is Vince and Jimmy. We're couch coaching. We're going to give you our weeks 5 through 8 matchups for the Dallas Cowboys for the 2012 season. We did our weeks 1 through 4 matchups already, and I predicted that the Cowboys would be 3-1. Jimmy predicted they would be 2-2.
1-3.
1-3. And right now they're 2-1. We're doing this before the Monday night matchup that they have against the Chicago Bears. So right now they're 2-1, and you know they've looked pretty good. The team that I predicted that they would lose to, they actually beat, and they beat the New York Giants on opening night on Wednesday. So they beat the Giants, but they lost to the Seattle Seahawks. And I'm gonna tell you something. I felt like they would beat the Seahawks, but I gotta give my man, the movie making guy, which made a comment on our YouTube page.
It's movie making dude.
Movie making dude.
We have to give him props.
Gotta give him props. You know,
his comment that he read was, basically we both agreed that the Seahawks would basically be embarrassed. Yeah, would be embarrassed, and he did call us out.
Yeah,
he called us out and said, Marshawn Lynch and the defense for Seattle. So we have to, if you leave comments like that and we're wrong, we'll be the first ones to tell you that we're wrong. And he was right. I mean, Seattle showed up and really just surprised a lot of people on that game, because I don't think anybody really saw that coming. And if they did, they didn't say anything.
Look, Seattle's a lot better than I thought they were. I knew their defense was good, but with Russell Wilson, and I think the comments that we had made, we didn't know who was the starting quarterback going to be.
Right.
Russell Wilson has been better, and he's been better at managing the game. I don't know if he's a better passer than Flynn is, but he's been better at managing the game. And at this point, the Seahawks are 2-2. They should be 1-3, but we're not going to talk about that.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's
dual possession is dual possession. Now I got the ball and then somebody else grabs it, but that's a whole other.
Well, you know how they do it. I mean, if someone catches the ball and you catch them, I mean, technically that's your ball.
Yeah, dual possession, right? Yeah,
I mean, that's what it is. But regardless of that, they are
very good. They are much better than I thought they would be. Their defense is outstanding, and all you can ask that you have a chance to win. In all their games, they've been in them, and they've had a chance to win all their games. But again, we're here to talk about the Cowboys. So again, the Cowboys at this point are 2-1, and again they play Monday night against the Chicago Bears.
And once we're done with this one on Monday night after that game, if you go back to our YouTube page, you'll see what's called the final drive. The final drive will discuss what the highs and lows that we thought were for the Sunday and Monday night game. But it happened. We post them up on Tuesday. So it's after the Monday night game.
Right.
So just look for that, and that's where we'll discuss the Chicago and Dallas game.
Yeah. So
the Bears.
Got a Bears fan in the house. So the week 5, the Cowboys have a bye week.
Right. Which
will be good for them coming off a Monday night game, because usually that's a short week going into your next matchup. But they'll have a bye week in week 5, and then they play the Baltimore Ravens in Baltimore. Now, go ahead.
Go ahead. I don't want to steal your thunder.
Look. What I'm going to say is, again, they're 2-1. They had, the funny thing about the Cowboys is that
you don't know who's showing up.
You don't know who's going to show up. They didn't even show up against Seattle. They came out and had a great, that first game against the Giants, I'm like, wow, they're like world beaters.
Yeah.
They just don't show up against Seattle.
And then Tony Romo don't even do nothing against Tampa Bay, but they still get the win.
But Tampa Bay does have a good defense. That's what
I mean. Just with the leadership that Tony Romo shows, you don't know who's coming.
Right.
It all depends on just how they feel that week.
Right.
If they all eat their Wheaties, they're all good.
Right.
But if one has a bowl of cereal and one has oatmeal and one just has toast, they're not on the same page. They're not even remotely in the same room.
Right.
So that's what it is. With them going to see Baltimore in week 6, I'm not a big partial fan of Baltimore because they are in my division. But I have to keep this bias and I have to keep an open opinion.
Right.
But I honestly do think that the Cowboys are going to have a tough time. Their offensive line just is not there. They have injuries due to it, so maybe the bye week will help with some of them injuries, coming back and forth.
Right.
Will actually sustain. But I seen what Baltimore did to Cincinnati. I saw what what could have happened to Philadelphia, that they barely lost that game, I think, by a field goal.
Right.
And then they turn around and just, who did they play last?
Thursday night they played Cleveland.
Cleveland, which, well, we're not even going to talk about that. But, I mean, it's I really think that Dallas, if you don't know who's showing up, could actually have a hard time with this game.
Right.
You're going to Baltimore. You're playing at noon Baltimore game. So, I mean, you're actually playing an hour ahead of what you would normally play.
Right, which I don't think that will affect them that much.
It ain't going to affect them that
right.
much, but, I mean, you're talking about a very physical game all day long. I mean, if you just watch Baltimore games, it's just very physical. And
right.
I honestly think Cowboys are going to have a hard time with this one.
Yeah, I think the Cowboys will lose this matchup as well. I mean, if you look at Baltimore's record up to this point, they're 3-1. And again, they should have won the Philadelphia game. They could be 4-0 right now. They've had some tough matchups, and they've fared well. And I think Baltimore and this offense and the defense has fallen back a little bit. But shoot, when you got Ray Lewis and Ed Reed back there, I mean, falling back a little bit ain't nothing for that particular defense.
Yeah, because I think the only person you're missing on that is Suggs.
It's Suggs. Yeah.
But Suggs, they just came out. I read today on Baltimore's website that said Suggs is making faster progress
right.
to be coming back on the field this season.
And we don't know. Again, they still have a bye week going in before they play Baltimore, so we don't know where Suggs will be by that time. Now, if Suggs does get on the field, we'll know it'll be in limited action because he still won't be in football shape.
Right.
But having said that, going to Baltimore, look, they'll have a whole extra week to prepare for Baltimore. But I feel like Baltimore should win that game at Baltimore. Those guys are almost unbeatable at M&T Bank Field.
Yeah.
So I think that Baltimore will win that game. So we both agree on that, correct?
I do.
So in their first matchup after their bye, so this is week 6, the Dallas Cowboys will lose that game against Baltimore. That's our prediction.
Yeah, 0-1.
Yeah. So in their week 7 matchup, they'll be playing at the Carolina Panthers.
Yeah.
They'll be playing at the Carolina Panthers, and it's a tough matchup. It's a tough matchup, but I feel like they can beat Carolina. But Carolina, hell, you don't know who's gonna show up.
Yeah.
Because I think this past weekend, look, they lost today. Because we're doing this on week 4. Carolina lost today, but they played Atlanta really, really tough.
Yeah, Atlanta almost lost that game.
Almost lost the game.
So I mean, Carolina isn't a team that you got to worry about who's showing up. They're very consistent, pretty much every week. The real question is who's going to show up for Dallas.
Right.
And that's who, if you're a Dallas fan, I think you're even asking yourself too. Because, I mean, you're looking at Carolina Panthers. This should be an easy win for, a lot of people. A lot of people should look at the Carolina Panthers as they're a young team. They're starting to get to where they want to be. They're real physical. They're in the NFC. So, they're starting to come up.
Right.
But when it comes down to it, if you're not prepared on your defense to contain Cam Newton, his running ability, his throwing ability, if you're not willing to contain Steve Smith, if you're not willing to contain,
D'Angelo Williams, right?
D'Angelo
and Stewart
Williams
should be healthy by then, too.
Stewart looked good today, too.
Right.
So, if you're not willing to contain all these guys on your defense, then you're going to have a tough time because they're going to keep it close. I have not seen a game yet that they actually.
Well, they got throttled by the Giants.
Well, of course,
on the Thursday night game, right?
But again,
all the rest of the games they were there.
The Cowboys beat the Giants, and then lose to Seattle,
right?
And then barely beat Tampa Bay.
Again, who's going to show up? Who's going to show up for those Dallas Cowboys? It's going to be really interesting because when you're coming into the second quarter of the season, depending on how you fared in the first quarter. Which at this point the Panthers are standing at 1-3. They'll play in the Week 5 matchup. They're going to be playing Seattle and then have a bye before they play the Cowboys.
Right.
Now, so that means that they'll have an extra week to prepare for the Cowboys. We don't know whether they're going to win or lose against Seattle, and whether if they lose against Seattle, then again, all of us know. Look, every game is important. You don't want to go into that game against Dallas being 1-4 because that could be the end of your season. That loss could be it.
Yeah.
So when teams are desperate, you just never know who's going to show up. But having said that, you know, look, Carolina, Cam Newton's going to be a really good quarterback.
Oh,
I mean, he's good now, but I think he'll be a great quarterback at some point.
Yeah, I think that as well. I think with their young talent,
right?
With Steve Smith, of course, he's getting a little bit older in the years, but
he's still good,
he's still good. And
right.
I mean, and then when you bring in some more wide receivers underneath him,
right,
and let him teach them, and the sky's the limit for this team.
Exactly.
I mean, but I still give them at least another year or two
right.
before they actually start setting things on.
Yeah, exactly. I give them another year or two, and you know, I feel like that the Cowboys should win this game in Carolina.
Yeah.
You know that because again, as talented as Carolina is, I just don't think that they're there yet.
Yeah.
So I think that we are both in agreement that they'll win this matchup. So that will have them 1-1 in the second quarter of the season. Now, here comes the Giants again. Now,
wow, that's actually very surprising.
Right, and to have this divisional matchup, your second divisional matchup this early in the season, man, I don't know. Because
you tell me your prediction, I'll tell you.
I'm gonna tell you, look. I think the Giants got a little bit of taste in their mouth. You know, here the Cowboys come into town that are bitter rivals. That ain't no joke. That's real. They really don't like each other. Our bitter rivals coming in here and ruining our Super Bowl celebration
at our home.
At our house. Man, look, they're gonna go up to Dallas, and they're gonna beat Dallas, and then Eli Manning's gonna probably sign something else. In Cowboy Stadium, but I think that the Giants are going to win that game. Coming up there because again, the Dallas' defense has been much better, much improved from last year.
Yeah.
They still have enough skill position players, but again, Amuka Mira should be back by then, which is a cornerback, and I think he actually played. I think he's actually going to be I think he played this weekend, but if not, I know he'll be completely healthy by the time they come to this matchup.
Right.
And so they should have their full complement of corners in this game. So I feel like the Giants will win it. It's going to be a close game because it's still a divisional matchup, but I think the Giants will win this game against the Cowboys at Cowboy Stadium.
I think so too, and I'm not just saying that because of the fact that I was wrong the first one, so I've got to be right on this one. But
we both wrong on the first one.
I really do think that New York has a bitter taste in their mouth. I think that nothing would make them more, happy than to go into the Dallas Stadium where Jerry Jones and all them, big wigs are and just destroy his Dallas team, and then just look at Jerry Jones as he's down there on the field and just be like, "What now?"
Right.
I mean, you beat us at our home, we're gonna beat you at your home, and I mean. Now, I could be mistaken because we were very, very mistaken week one.
Well, and the thing about it is that what's so important because this is very early in the season. This wouldn't even be at the halfway point.
Yeah.
But this is the second matchup they'll have against these guys.
In the
last one, exactly. Barring they meet in the playoffs.
Yeah, barring if they meet in the playoffs. But this will be the last.
Very important game because this game could be the tiebreaker on who wins the division.
Just like it was last season.
Exactly.
So I mean, I honestly think that with Eli Manning, they had celebrations going on in their head. It was a big night for them. They just, it was the first game back after winning the Super Bowl and all that. So emotions ran high. They let some things go. Their secondary on their defense on New York just wasn't containing like they should have.
Right.
Being week 8, I think New York will be ready to go.
Right.
And that's what I'm going to say. I'm going to go ahead and say that. Dallas will be 1-2.
Right.
After week 8.
Yeah, I think we both agree.
In the second part of the season.
The second quarter.
Sorry.
Yeah, the second quarter season. I think they'll be 1-2 as well. Because I mean that Giants matchup. I mean it's more than just another game. I mean this game can determine who ends up winning the division. Going forward.
Right.
So we both believe that they'll be 1-2 after that matchup. So. Man, so that means that the Dallas Cowboys combined record going into that point would be. They're 3-1 right now, so they'd be.
Well, they're at 2-1, barring the
Monday night game. Sorry. So
right now,
we really can't make any predictions on what their total record would be.
Well, no, we could. We could say if they win Monday night
Right.
game, that'd be 3-1. And so if we're predicting them to be 1-2,
right,
they'll be 4-3.
right,
That's what they'll be.
right.
Barring if they lose, they'll be
500.
Yeah, so they'll be even.
Yeah.
So, and that's what it is. So,
Right.
I mean, so we could say that. They still haven't played yet. Look for the final drive after the Monday night games. That'll be on Tuesday. Look for the final drive, and we'll let you know what our predictions, how they are.
How the game ended, and again, we also talk about the highs and lows from the previous Week 4 matchups as well.
Right.
All right, guys. Thanks for stopping by here at Couch Coaching. If you like it, you don't like it, hey, leave some comments at the bottom of the page. And again, try to hit us up at Facebook, Couch Coaching 12 on Facebook. And again, thanks for stopping by.